Well, in the following video, notice what we can learn about timing from the way Jehovah created a different bird to behave.
I can't speak for all birds. I mean, there are loads of them. There are eagles, geese, hummingbirds. Don't even get me started on frickin' owls, but I know for damn sure emperor penguins don't appreciate being called different. I mean, sure, these chaps can't fly and they're not even fast walkers. To be honest, they walk like they're trying to hide that they've just had an accident, if you know what I mean. But penguins are a legit species of bird, and they will frickin' end you if you give them any lip just because they don't fall neatly into the stereotypical bird cliché. Frankly, these dudes need our respect, especially if you consider what they went through about 4,500 years ago when God flooded the entire planet just to kill all but one family of humans. Why don't you try trekking 7,500 miles from Antarctica to the Middle East, swimming across the Atlantic Ocean and then making it on foot across Africa, including the Sahara Desert, all the while waddling along as though you're holding in a big fat steamer. These homies went through all of that just to spend a few months in a giant floating wooden box, and it's not like they could just get an Uber back. Emperor penguins are badass, and if you ask me, they deserve mad respect. If you try to pick one up and they're not in the mood, take it from me, you will live to regret it. Possibly the most awesome thing about penguins is their wisdom in choosing a place to live that's so frickin' cold that they're almost never bothered by people like this dude, a Jehovah's Witness. I'll take months of dragging my arse across a giant lump of frozen rock any day if it means I can keep control of my own mind and not feel forced to find profound meaning in obscure Bible verses such as this. Even the stork in the sky knows its seasons. I mean, that's not even penguin related. Okay, yeah, so once again, I just couldn't resist redubbing a Jehovah's Witness creation video. They put these, unfortunately, in every convention, every year. There's some kind of video where they piece together stock footage of nature, be it animals or geographical formations or weather, you name it, and they put an obscure Bible text at the end. And to be honest, I'm bored of just showing you these clips unedited and then finding something interesting to say. I'd rather just add my own commentary and just spice things up a little bit. By the way, this is a symposium item, What Creation Can Teach Us About Jehovah's Timing, Birds, and the chap you saw at the beginning was Jason Goodman from the Warwick, New York headquarters. And just for the purpose of journalistic integrity, I'm going to read you the original narration just so you know what they were saying. Jehovah gave birds inherent abilities that enable them to survive in challenging environments. Consider emperor penguins. How do these birds deal with their unique challenges? And what can we learn from their sense of timing? For many birds, the end of the Antarctic summer marks the start of a migration north to milder conditions. But emperor penguins instinctively do the opposite. They head south, moving deeper into the cold to breed. Each female then lays a single egg, which is soon entrusted to the male for safekeeping. These sites are very inhospitable, but the emperors are prepared. Jehovah has given them instinctive wisdom. Before migrating south, these males had feasted and built up their fat reserves. Apparently that's something Jehovah's Witnesses need to do, build up their fat reserves. Because for 2 long months, the coldest and darkest of the year, they won't eat and will lose half their body weight while they incubate the eggs. During this time, the females have trekked about 50 miles to the sea and are now ready to return with food just in time for when the chicks hatch. Preparing ahead for the difficult times helps these penguins to survive along with their young. Now is the time for us to learn from the emperor penguin and build up our spiritual reserves. The fat reserves are a metaphor. Build up our spiritual reserves before this world's dark days become even darker. Even the stork in the sky knows its seasons. So they can't, again, make a video about something as harmless or as unthreatening or innocent as penguins without making it somehow ominous, somehow doomsday, somehow to do with Armageddon and everyone dying. We need to learn from the penguin and build up our spiritual reserves before this world's dark days become even darker. The end is coming. And in order to survive Armageddon, what Jehovah's Witnesses need to do is be more like penguins.
But why is it so important for us to remain spiritually strong? When we're spiritually strong, we're in a better position to strengthen others, our brothers and sisters, and to help them build their faith. Hebrews 10:25 instructs us to meet together and to encourage one another, and all the more so as we behold Jehovah's day drawing near. Just as the penguins huddled together for protection from the intense winds, we need to huddle together with our brothers and sisters for protection from Satan's system around us. That means we need to be where our brothers and sisters gather, at the meetings, attending in person if at all possible. Then we can strengthen them by means of our comments and our conversations. When Jehovah's Day comes, we don't want to lose any one of our dear brothers or sisters because they got discouraged and gave up along the way. So right now is the time to encourage them. When we are spiritually strong, we'll also be in a position to build the faith of our family members. Did you notice that the penguins worked together to feed and protect their chicks so that they would survive the coming harsh winter? Parents, you can work together to feed and protect your children spiritually so that they survive Jehovah's coming day. How do you strengthen them spiritually? It's by spending time with them, reading the Bible with them, studying with them, praying with them, sharing in the ministry with them. And did you notice the good example in the video of the father who was conducting family worship? Family heads, your family worship program is essential to your family's survival. Soon, Jehovah's Day of Judgment will come. But we do not have to fear it if we are prepared. So may we all take a lesson from the birds. May we use the time we have left wisely to build up our own friendship with Jehovah, to build the faith of our family members and that of our close friends. Then when Jehovah's Day comes, we will be ready, happy that we used our time wisely while waiting.
They're just not even trying anymore, are they? They're just out in the open at this point when it comes to expressing how culty they are and how this is all about doomsday fear-mongering. I just wish they were this transparent with people when they were out on the street standing next to their literature carts. We've just been hearing from Jason Goodman, who is a Bethelite at the Warwick, New York headquarters. He's taking us through the symposium item, What Creation Can Teach Us About Jehovah's Timing Birds. And if you're watching this as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, just think for a moment about the last time you spoke to a member of the public or a householder and you were discussing Armageddon. You will have said something like, because I used to say this and I've heard Jehovah's Witnesses say this to me, you will have said something like, well, the solution to all of the injustice and misery and evil on our earth today is for God to execute wicked people. Once God destroys wicked people, then there will be no more evil and we can all be happy. And that's the logic that you use when you're preaching to people in the door-to-door work or in the public witnessing work. And yet, what did we just hear from Jason Goodman?
When Jehovah's Day comes, we don't want to lose any one of our dear brothers or sisters because they got discouraged and gave up along the way. So right now is the time to encourage them.
So Armageddon isn't just about killing people who are wicked or evil. Even some Jehovah's Witnesses will be slaughtered at Armageddon because they got discouraged and gave up along the way. That's going to be worthy of annihilation or execution when Armageddon comes. Imagine you're one of the angels, or you're one of the 144,000 when Armageddon strikes, and you're riding around on your heavenly horse in the heavens with your heavenly bow and arrow, or your heavenly sword, or whatever heavenly instrument of death you might be inclined to use. Maybe a heavenly AK-47, I don't know. Why does it have to be ancient weapons? Anyway, you're riding around and you're killing evil people, but along with the evil people, you also have it as your mission to kill Jehovah's Witnesses who have gotten discouraged and given up along the way. It's your job to kill those too. And then we get to what Jason was saying about family worship.
Parents, you can work together to feed and protect your children spiritually so that they survive Jehovah's coming day. Family heads, your family worship program is essential to your family's survival.
Family worship is essential to the survival of children. So just to be clear, when the winds of divine wrath are circling the earth, when the angels and the 144,000 are going around on this murderous rampage, hacking people down in cold blood, they're not just interested in killing wicked people and evil people, murderers, thieves, sexual predators, that sort of person, people who are guilty of genocide. They're interested in killing Jehovah's Witnesses who've gotten discouraged and who've given up along the way. And they're also going to be killing, apparently, children whose parents haven't committed themselves sufficiently to doing family worship.